back to another episode of 222. Thanks for tuning back in, or if it's your first time, thanks for clicking on the link and checking this out. Today, I finally talked my wife into doing a video with me. She is very, very skeptical. It's been 6 months of bugging, probably. At least. I don't know, something like that. To get her on here to ask a few questions, and I was supposed to write them down, and I didn't do that, so hopefully I can remember what we discussed earlier. There's a few topics that I want to talk to her about in regards to pornography in her life in a certain different kind of form, but also talking about like how, with my previous addiction in porn, how it has affected our marriage in certain times, and how she felt and that kind of thing, so that maybe, hopefully, it'll open up a conversation for spouses to talk about this kind of thing, because it's, it's a pretty important thing.
I agree.
You talk too much. It's crazy. So I guess first I'll let you just go ahead and talk about how you had a form of porn in your life.
Yes, it's not the society's view of porn, unfortunately. Unfortunately, society doesn't view it as porn as I think they should, is what I mean by that.
Yeah, it's definitely a better way to put
that. So when I was I was young, like 6th grade or so, I kind of got hooked on romance novels. What girl doesn't like a sappy love story? But it did go from just a regular old love story to, the Harlequin romance novels, which if you've never read one of those are, they're graphic. And the reason that I like to call this women's porn, because, guys' brains work more with pictures and video, where the majority, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of women, we like the words and we like the descriptions and the stories. So let's say, even if you don't ever get into the Harlequin version of romance novels and you just like a good little love story, I still hesitate to not call that porn, just because like the video porn or the picture porn puts an image in a guy's head that is a pretty unrealistic standard of what a woman looks like, or what a guy should expect in bed. The romance novels put a very unrealistic picture in the girl's in a girl's head of what a husband or the love of your life is supposed to be like.
Yeah, it's expectations that there's very little chance that a guy that you're going to meet can actually meet those qualifications.
Exactly. And I'm not saying like a guy's not going to buy you flowers or cook you dinner or take the trash out or whatever, sweep you off your feet and rescue you. Is that in romance
novels?
I don't think so.
The trash out?
It's a pretty unrealistic expectation. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I do every Saturday, I think, is my day.
Actually.
Sundays are my days.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in romance novels, this handsome, rustic, whatever type of guy comes in and, sweeps the girl off of her feet with all of his sweet words and kind gestures, and the love life is just amazing, whatever, not necessarily the sex part of it, but just in general.
So wait, what you're saying is you don't get that? Like, I'm rustic.
He came in and swept me off my feet. But the laundry's not always going to make it in the laundry basket, and the dishes aren't always going to be done, and the flowers aren't always going to be randomly on the table. I mean, it's unrealistic. Romance novels are unrealistic.
Yeah, and I mean, you see that even on TV as well. I mean, you get into a lot of the more dramatic shows, and they portray that same thing, is that, that everything just goes perfectly perfect for the most part, and you meet that perfect guy, and everything is just honky dory.
It's your soulmate.
Yeah.
You complete me.
I do, and I better. No. Actually, our pastor, the reason we're joking about that is our pastor just talked about marriage on Sunday, and it's a really good sermon talking about how, our expectations of life really shouldn't be put into our spouse and what we need in our life, but that should go towards Christ, rather than putting your spouse in that place, because no matter how much our spouses do, they're never going to fully complete everything that you need. But,
Porn or no porn.
Yeah.
Yes. But just like if my husband comes in and he's got, an addiction to porn, and he expects me to do all the things that he's seen in videos, or dress a certain way in the bedroom, or whatever it might be. Confession time, I have never seen a porn video or looked at porn, so I don't even know.
And that's okay.
I don't even know what exactly I'm compared to right now. But just like that would be, unrealistic of him to expect that of me. It'd be unrealistic of me to expect him to constantly live up to this dream guy that's in some book. So that's the women's porn.
Yeah. That's that part. No, and that part. I think that definitely answers all of that, and I hope that there are some women out there watching this, that'll get something from that for sure.
I have to butt in. I'm not saying I don't still watch a sappy love movie every once in a while, and I'm not saying it's terribly wrong to read some Beverly Lewis love book. I'm just saying don't get caught up in it. Don't go to the Harlequin. I do fully say those are wrong, because they do get graphic.
And I've never read one of those books, so
Why not?
I wouldn't know.
I'm not saying that I don't watch a romance movie every once in a while when my husband allows me to have control of the TV.
We do like romantic comedy.
Yeah.
So I at least get a little of enjoyment out of it.
That's right.
But, you add Kevin James into anything, and it'll probably make it funny. Anyway, we won't get off on Kevin James' topic.
No.
But check out his YouTube channel. It's hilarious. Okay, so the next part is, one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do was to explain to my wife about the addiction that I had. Especially like that first time, and then not just saying, okay, I've dealt with this in my past, but if it crept back in, and going to her and explaining to her, what I did wrong, and ask for forgiveness and ask for prayer and accountability, because as guys we need that. We need not just male accountability, but our spouse's accountability as well. And I think it's easier for me to tell one of my buddies, that I messed up, rather than telling my wife and seeing that look on her face. Like that is like none other, that slight disappointment. I mean, I get that in other ways when I don't do things that I should be doing.
Like put your socks in the hamper?
Like put my socks in the hamper. It's almost 18 years of hearing that joke. I'm doing better. I do a lot better. But, I guess I've never even really asked you this, so I have no clue what you're going to say here.
This will be fun.
But what thoughts go through your head? What thoughts went through your head, like when I've told you before that I've messed up? If you can recall those thoughts.
So there's a mixture of disappointment and being upset, maybe a little bit of anger, and then it normally turns to almost like a guilt, like what did I not do right? Is there something wrong with me? Why does he have to go find satisfaction in that? That's normally what it ends up turning into, is more of, like, I've messed up so bad that you have to go look somewhere else for what I should be giving you.
Right. And I mean, if
Excuse me.
I think even if, and what I try to do on here is explain things both in a Christian's perspective, but also kind of a just realistic perspective. In that when a man does look at porn, whether or not you're a Christian, I really do feel that that's cheating on your wife. It's, you may not be going into the act, of that, but you are taking some type of mental pleasure out of that. And so everything you said, I 100% understand and get. And the guilt, I promise you, is also obviously on my side as well. So just, fellas, keep that in mind. If you are married or going to be married one day, that you don't want to drag, if you're stuck in that addiction right now, you don't want to drag that into your marriage. You don't want it to, you don't want to bring that issue into there, because it does cause. Would I be right in saying that it causes a little bit of distrust?
Yeah, it does. Because, I've never really worried about you cheating on me, but like in the actual physical sense.
Right.
But I can see how it could cause that, that feeling that, okay, well, if he's willing to look at this picture of somebody he doesn't know, would he accept a photo of somebody he does know? Would he ever go meet up, with somebody he does know? That's not really, ever played through my brain necessarily.
Right.
But I can see how it would or could lead down that.
Yeah.
That's not to say, though, that that you should keep it. Like, I don't think the husband should keep it from the wife if that's a problem.
No.
Even knowing it's a hard conversation, it hurts. Unfortunately, it has gotten easier to hear over the past 17 years or whatever. So it doesn't. I know the first few times you told me there were tears. There was a lot of upset by me. I think over the years I've just kind of been like, okay, this is something you struggle with. I have plenty of things I struggle with. It's a sin, just like the things I struggle with are a sin. And so I kind of look more at, okay, how can I help you? How can I encourage you? How can I get you through this? Rather than saying, being the selfish, like, it's all about me,
Right. Yeah. It's not just about the fact that the guy wrongs the girl,
Yeah.
or the girl wrongs the guy, but it's about finding that reconciliation first, and then finding a way to help each other out.
Yeah.
I think, and I've said this over and over again, is that, at least in my life, is that, there's a pattern. There's a very evident pattern of when I would slip up, that it was falling basically into the same path every time. It's usually, a late night, being somewhere, and then, I would look at something that I shouldn't look at, and it would just lead down a bad rabbit trail. And, if a spouse can ask those questions to say, okay, well, do you see a pattern? You know, do you see what is causing this? What's making those thoughts happen? That kind of thing. And then help your spouse figure out a way to avoid those situations. Or if, you know, say I work late nights, you know, being willing to, you know, after the night is over, ask those tough questions or be praying for your spouse, you know, and try to set something in motion to try to help prevent that.
Yeah. So, wives, you need to ask those tough questions. It's not something I do regularly. Every once in a while. I also think sometimes I already know when there's been maybe a slip up. You kind of see the pattern. Not that I catch it every time, but I don't know. You can just kind of tell a lot of times. And I mean, he's pretty much, if it ever does happen, it's normally first thing the morning when he wakes up. He's like, I gotta tell you something. So there's not the chance for me to catch it afterwards, because I used to be able to tell, you know, the day after, oh, he's messed up, because he would just be kind of acting weird. But yeah, there is the pattern, and
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's for everybody,
Yeah.
but that's my guess, you know, and the people that I've talked to that have struggled with this, there's a pattern of what you end up going back to, because different people have different things. You know, some are, you know, the older guys might be magazines, you know, but now with the internet, it's everywhere. It's in, you know, on our cell phones. It's literally freaking everywhere. You know, on TV, on Netflix, and all of them, it has some form of pornography. Even if you think that it's not, if it has, you know, sexual content, that's pornography, whether you like to hear that or not.
I saw pornography on Facebook yesterday. Somebody had posted a picture of like 9 different shirtless guys, and it was like each one was a different drink, and it was like, which drink would you want? And I'm just like, why is that even something that is out there? Why is that even something that married women are commenting on? Like, I'm sorry, my husband wasn't one of those numbers, so I didn't choose any drink. I guess I dehydrate. I don't know. No. But it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I'll make a calendar just for you.
Okay.
Yeah, because nobody else would buy it. Okay, there was something else. Oh, okay, so something that we've never done, but I think still needs to be talked about, is that, and this is probably a pretty simple question, probably not going to take a whole lot of time to answer this one. But do you ever think that it would be proper to bring any form of pornography into a marriage, to say that it helps your bedroom time?
No. I don't think that would ever be okay.
And I say no as well, obviously.
I mean, if you want to ignore everything about keeping the bedroom pure, and, you know, keeping your marriage pure, and not cheating on your wife or your husband, and not giving each other false expectations, then sure, go for it. But no.
Sorry, I just like seeing your face. I knew that answer was coming, obviously, but you know, I mean, there are obviously people that unfortunately think that it's okay, but again, scientifically and biblically, I don't think that there should be a need. I think that if you ever feel that there is a need, that there's something that there needs to be a conversation to say, you know, what is going on? Why can't we just make this work? There's counselors for that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't invite other people into our bed with us, so I don't really, I mean, if you're going to have a video or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
they're there.
Yeah, True.
They're being a part of that.
Well, unknowingly, because
Yes.
it's a video. But
Yes,
but still, besides the point. Okay, so let's wrap this up here.
Okay.
What would you say would be, like, here's the main point?
wives, ask your husband difficult questions, and husbands, tell your wives, even if you know it's going to hurt them, even though you know there's going to be, she's going to be upset, there's going to be consequences. I think it's good for relationships to have that out in the open. There's no way I would have been able to help you if you had never told me.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes for any sin.
Yeah.
In general. Until you bring it out into the light, you can't receive help.
Yep.
And that goes for, spouse, talk to your pastor, talk to somebody, say you're single and watching this, this one's kind of been a lot about marriage, but if you're single again and you're struggling, find someone to talk to. Find a counselor that you trust. It's a Christian counselor or a pastor or somebody, a good friend that you trust, that can maybe help you to get out of it. Somebody that's maybe been able to, that's been stuck in it, that's out of it. That you can trust to keep you accountable to, all of that garbage.
Yep.
All right. Well, I just want to say thanks for watching. There'll be some links to all the stuffs down below in the description. Again, I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this, if you got something out of it, please give a thumbs up, like it, all that good stuff. Subscribe, hit the bell, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. And we appreciate you. Thanks for watching.